live in a time with a phrase that has been coined. Fake news. Fake news. I know when I watch or listen or read about the news, I sometimes ask myself, so who do you believe? I sometimes wonder, what is the truth? What's fabricated? Who is doing the fabricating? What are they not wanting to say or admit to? And why don't they want that information in question to be broadcast? Why this particular slant on this story at this time? And I think that's especially true in our political circles. And sadly, even though it's not really funny, it's become a joke. And even more so an expectation, a form of entertainment. What's going to be the fake news today? Well, discerning truth isn't a new phenomenon of our time. Pilate, with Jesus in front of him standing trial, asked very pointedly of Jesus, what is truth? What you're telling me? Or what the authorities and the religious leaders are telling you? What is the truth? George Orwell said this about truth. In a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. In a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And there's no doubt that the truth that Jesus came to live and to teach and to go on trial for and to ultimately die for was indeed a revolutionary act. He willingly endured it all. Not for himself, not for his own gain, not to raise himself up and to make himself more important, but for God's people in all time, for you, for me, giving us hope, restoring our fragile and often broken relationships with God, bringing healing into our fractured lives and our fractured world, offering a way of peace and justice for us to participate in as a church, bringing light into the dark times of history, offering hope where there is often so much despair. Jesus endured all of that to lead us into the promise of eternal life, so that we could recognize and become involved ourselves in God's kingdom where Christ reigns, here and now, right in our own communities, among our neighbors. And it resembles nothing of this world as we know it, because the reign of Christ in the kingdom of God turns assumptions and expectations upside down and inside out, almost to the point that we don't recognize. A story. Once there was a prince, and he was on the verge of inheriting his father's kingdom and becoming king. After many years of training and study and apprenticing, his father and the other wise elders of the kingdom deemed him ready for the role of king. He had only one hesitation. He was single. And he wanted to reign with a partner by his side. He wanted to marry. And so far, all of the eligible women that he met at court didn't stir his heart or his soul. And he wanted to marry for love and for friendship, because of a relationship that had been formed. Well, one day he was riding through the marketplace, and he was struck by the sight of a girl who sold beautiful, sturdy pottery at one of her stalls. Her eyes captivated him. They were kind, they sparkled, they were thoughtful of other people around her. He observed how she treated her customers with such respect and fairness, and yet always struck a good bargain for her family business. He saw her steadfastness, her steadiness, and her detailed creativity in her work. And needless to say, he fell in love. Well, he wondered, how can I approach her? How can I get to know her and let her get to know me? How can I build a relationship with her? Well, as prince, I could simply just order her to marry me. But I want to marry out of love. I could arrive at her humble home in my regal uniform on on a fine horse and bearing many gifts, and sweep her off her feet. But he said, I want to marry for friendship and shared values, not because I'm prince and can offer her a life of rich luxury. Well, maybe he thought I could disguise myself as a daily laborer and get to know her in the marketplace, and then when we fall in love, I'll tell her I'm a prince. But he said, I don't want to marry out of manipulation. Well, after much contemplation, with a growing love for this woman, this young woman as his guide, he finally made a decision. He said, I'm going to renounce my claim to the throne. I'm going to move into the neighborhood where she lives. I'm going to get to know the people in her community. I'm going to get to know her. I'm going to go to Mass with them. I'm going to make music at parties with them. I'm going to help build their houses. I'm going to shop with them in the marketplace. I'm going to live among them and be one of them. And in that way, hopefully, she'll become my friend. And someday I confess my love for her. And you know what? That's exactly what he did. And they lived happily ever after. Truly in love. And all because of a relationship and the desire of building a meaningful, loving relationship that was mutual, one to the other. Well, isn't that exactly what Jesus did? Coming to this earth. Coming here to live as one of us. As fully human as he was fully divine. In order to build a relationship with us. And why? Because he loves us. And because God loves us enough that he sent his Son to save us. In that gospel reading, Jesus responded to Pilate, questioning him, saying, For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. He came to proclaim, to live out a truth of what it means to be included in the kingdom of God. Both in the here and now today, and in the future that is yet to be. And that truth is anything but fake news. Sometimes it's hard for us to fathom. Sometimes it's difficult for us to understand. But it's not in the least fabricated or embellished. It is indeed the truth. And the promises that Jesus makes about his reign and about God's kingdom, those are real. And we have the privilege of being invited by God to experience them for ourselves and to share them with the world around us through the ministries we enter into as part of our discipleship. When I hear those promises that Jesus makes, and when I witness the sacrifice that Jesus was willing to take on, I want nothing more than to be part of his reign. I want to contribute in any way I can to the building of God's kingdom by being faithful to my discipleship as a follower of Jesus Christ, the one that I will always proclaim as King. You know, a few years ago, around this time, there was a joke that was going around, and it said, no matter who's president of the United States, Jesus is king. No matter who's prime minister of Canada, Jesus is king. No matter who is premier of Ontario, Jesus is king. And there's truth in that. And that is where our hope has to lie. Not in our human leaders, who are fallible, who make mistakes, but in the one who came to give us the truth of the gospel and the hope of God's kingdom and of eternal life. Today we celebrate the reign of Jesus Christ. And as we do that, we hold on to our faith, our hope, our trust. And it is grounded in the truth that Jesus taught. The truth of God's reign of justice and healing and peace and respect and dignity for all people, in all places, in all time. Today we remind ourselves that we are called always to align ourselves with God's vision and faithfully live out our baptismal covenants and our baptismal ministries, because they are the very foundation of our discipleship as followers of Jesus Christ. And the truth is, we have many wonderful opportunities. We already participate in inspired opportunities and meaningful ways to the building up of God's reign right here in our community. To the building of God's kingdom. We're part of that. When we seek and serve Christ in all people, loving our neighbor as ourselves. And when we strive for justice and peace among all people and respect the dignity of every human being. You recognize those? They're taken right out of our baptismal covenants. And when we are asked those questions at baptism, we say, I will, with God's help. And so it is with God's help that we pray we can indeed do those very things that we are called to, equipped by God to contribute to God's kingdom. So let's remember to be bold. Let's remember to be courageous in trusting the truth as God has revealed it to us. Because it's not fake. It's not fabricated. It is indeed the truth.